Do you want to break into tech, but wondering what it looks like on the inside? Well, here's what I wish people would have told me about working a tech job before I started in tech. The first thing I wish I would have known about working in tech is that software developers are king and queens. Seriously, if you're a coder, hats off to you. You're doing the thing. Everybody else, learn to speak their language. Here's the deal. Tech companies are like bakeries, but their key asset is their code. It's the bread and butter. It's the foundation of the entire operation. But guess what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let you in on a little secret that they don't really tell you. And there's a lot of you out there wondering how you can break into tech without having to learn the code. And I've got a video on that too. We're going to put the link in the description. But imagine going to work at a bakery and not understanding bread. Like, sure, there's various roles at a bakery that don't require you to be an exceptional baker. You could be cashier, you could manage inventory, but your success in any of these roles really depends on how well you understand what's fundamental to a bakery, which is bread. The same goes for tech companies. At their core is code. You don't have a tech company if you don't have code. Whether you're a project manager, a UX designer, a system analyst, understanding the tools, the frameworks, the languages that developers use can really set you apart. So what's the big deal? Well, it's about effective communication and excelling at your job. When you understand the code, it's like speaking the same language as the bakers in the bakery. You can bridge the communication gap, you can create trust, and you can really grasp the details of the product that's being created. Another way to think about it is it's you leveling up how much impact you can have. Just like the person who works at a bakery who understands the ins and outs of bread but isn't necessarily a baker, they're able to suggest new recipes, come up with new marketing ideas. It's the same in a tech company. You can use your skills and your knowledge of software development to work more closely with software developers and come up with better solutions. The second thing I wish I would have known about working in tech is about how many project managers you'll work with who don't really have a clue about what you do. Yep, you heard it here first. Imagine this, you're deep into solving a problem, you got your headphones on, you're in the best state of flow, and then your project manager walks up and he's like, so how long is it going to take to refactor this feature? When will this bug be fixed? Can you fix this item instead of this item? You said this would be finished last week. And you're sitting there thinking, this guy's wasting my time. So what are you supposed to do with that? Well, think of it as creating a bridge between two worlds. Just like a translator helps people from different countries to communicate, having a shared language and comprehension between technical and non-technical team members could really be a strong secret weapon for you. So if you're in a non-technical role, like I said before, you need to learn the tech. And if you're in a technical role, you need to understand the business drivers. You need to understand the constraints of time, scope, and budget. More on that later. So when everyone's speaking the same language, it's like having a universal remote for teamwork. You can collaborate effectively, you can understand each other's needs, and you can work together seamlessly. The third thing no one tells you about working in tech are the endless meetings. I swear, you'll spend half of your work week in meetings, and some of them are pretty pointless. And then you still need to find time to get your work done. Of course, that's going to happen at home. And all of these meetings are often to talk about issues that you're facing because you didn't spend enough time earlier in meetings to talk about the issues that you knew you were going to face because everybody was sick of being in meetings and wanted to go back to their desk and work and save time. So now we need to have a meeting to figure out what I just said about meetings actually made sense. You get the point. It becomes a bit overwhelming and the meetings get out of control. In tech, relentless meetings are awful, but often accepted and often the norm. Effective communication and management skills can be your secret weapon. Get good at running effective meetings. When you're a pro at this, you're not just showing up to the meeting as a participant, you're actually actively shaping them and creating them and making sure that the time spent talking about work is effective and drives forward what you're actually working on. You need to get good at facilitating meetings that drive outcomes and that allow you and your team to get back to your desk and get back to work. The next thing that no one tells you about working in tech is about how much documentation you're going to have to create. And I don't care if you're becoming a coder, DevOps engineer, a data analyst, you're going to have to write a lot of documentation. Documentation is your friend. It ensures that everyone, your colleagues, your future self, anyone who takes on the project after you understands your thought process, your designs, and the decisions that you made today to support the project for tomorrow. But do you want to know what's more frustrating than having to write a bunch of documents that you're pretty sure no one's ever going to read? Well, it's joining a project where the people on the project didn't write documents because they thought no one was ever going to read them. And now you've got to figure out why they designed this solution the way they designed it, why they made the decisions they made, because they didn't leave any documentation for you. There are no breadcrumbs for you to follow. You literally got to now figure out how to solve this puzzle of, why they architected the solution the way they did because they didn't leave you any documentation. So this happens a lot. And if you're fresh out of college or fresh out of a boot camp, guess who they're going to send to go and put this puzzle together and write new documentation. Yep, you. So now you've got to go and reverse engineer whatever solution you've inherited, the workflows, the code, and try to understand whatever solution you've just inherited. That lack of documentation turns what should have been an exciting, fun, smooth transition into a new role into really you just solving a big puzzle. So this one is pretty annoying, but if you play your cards right, it'll be a good opportunity to learn how systems work. It'll be a good opportunity to learn about good, effective documentation will make you stronger in whatever your tech specialty is. The sixth thing I wish I would have known about working in tech is that you're gonna get started, you're gonna start a new job, you're gonna be excited about what you're working on, you think you're gonna be working on some really groundbreaking, innovative project, and guess what? You get stuck working on some boring legacy system project that was built when you were still running around in your diaper. It's like signing up for a roller coaster, but you find yourself sitting on a merry-go-round. These older projects may not be the sexiest work, but don't write them off just yet. Legacy projects are often a goldmine of learning opportunities. Plus, you'll gain really valuable experience for future projects that will be more innovative and exciting. And on top of that, your manager knows that if they keep putting you on old, boring legacy projects, then eventually you're gonna go somewhere else and find better work. So tough it out, do the work. It's gonna be good for you in the long run. The last thing I wish I would have known about working in tech is that it's easy to get lost in code and algorithms and gadgets and the next shiniest innovative thing, and actually understanding the business is sometimes, and I would say most of the time, more important than understanding the tech. Successful tech professionals aren't just good at the tech, they're really good at understanding the business and understanding that it's more than writing code. They're actually helping to shape and design the future of the company. Make sure you have a strong understanding of the business decisions and the business benefits that sit behind your job and your project. Augment your education with business education and you'll be able to stand out that way. Let us know in the comments, what are some things that you wish you would have known before you started a job in tech?